You cannot afford to miss. Do stay with us beginning right now till the tail end of it. A lot lined up for you, including matters business. On the other side, Cynthia, what should we expect?
Well, good evening. Yes, in business, I will be talking about a young lady who has started a fintech company that allows you to save from 100 Kenya shillings. That is coming up shortly. I am Cynthia Nyamai.
And you can interact with us in the course of this particular broadcast at KBC Channel 1, at Serfine_Achieng, and at
Kioria. The sportsman, of course, is on injury, so Serfine Achieng will be coming later.
Taking it over.
Sports, but first things first, let's have a look at the highlights.
The search for 4 independent electoral and boundaries commissioners is on as the selection panel begins interviewing candidates.
President Uhuru Kenyatta commissions 5 new hospitals in Nairobi County to offer 24-hour services to residents.
And Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i moves to restore relations between the police service and the residents of Rioma in Kitutu Chache South.
All right, www.kbc.co.ke is our website. We will be also hoping that you can engage us on that as well. We are posting some of the stories there and much more. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Anne Wangeshi.
Let's begin right away. In interviews for the positions of the independent electoral and boundaries commissioners kicked off with 2 of the 36 shortlisted candidates appearing before the IEBC selection panel chaired by Elizabeth Muli and as Dr. Abdurizak Rale Nuno and Anne Mwikali Kioria were interviewed on their suitability. Integrity, capability and experience to transform and restore confidence of the electoral body IEBC. And as Ben Chumba reports, the first candidate, Abdallah Mohammed, who was scheduled to be interviewed in the morning at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, withdrew his candidature over questionable academic credentials.
Barely 13 months to the 2022 general elections, the IEBC selection panel embarked on interviewing candidates who will oversee the elections. First to appear before the panel for interviews was Dr. Abdurizak Rale Nuno, who was put to task to explain how he would advocate for transparency and accountability at the commission if successful.
IEBC must go beyond its call of duty to ensure that the people who have access to its technology are people who they can vouch for beyond reproach and people who care for this country.
Dr. Nuno, a lecturer at Moi University, told the IEBC selection panel he would advocate the use of technology to enhance credibility of the voter register ahead of the 2022 general elections.
If that is properly dealt with, the biometric will eliminate anybody who will have voted at whichever level, so that there's no issue of duplicate voting or people voting with ID cards of dead voters.
The second candidate to face the panel was Anne Mwikali Kioria, a legal practitioner with vast experience in electoral laws. Mwikali, who hopes to add value to the IEBC legal team, was grilled on what she will do should the government postpone the 2022 general elections.
Because we are an independent commission and we have mandates to pursue, and we have been given these powers by the Constitution, which is the supreme law of this land. We can go ahead and do the election.
Caroline Njeri Ng'ang'a, Dr. Catherine Mushiru Kamindo and Cecilia Ngoyoni will face the IEBC selection panel tomorrow at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC.
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Thank you, Ben, for that report. Now, moving on, President Uhuru Kenyatta last night commissioned 5 new hospitals in Nairobi County and directed them to offer 24-hour services to residents. The new health facilities are part of 24 such hospitals being constructed by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services as part of a broad government plan to decongest Kenyatta National Hospital, Mama Lucy, Pumwani and Bagathi hospitals.
President Uhuru Kenyatta's Tuesday night tour of Nairobi city to officially commission 5 newly constructed health facilities in densely populated areas within Nairobi was one of a kind. It was a visit done from around 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. this morning, the president saying it was a necessary move in order to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols.
It would have been impossible to go and do what we did today during the day because of the number of people who would have been out there. It would have made that very difficult for us to be able to do the job we want to do and at the same time observe the COVID protocols.
The 5 health facilities include Gishagi in Kangemi and Gatina in Kawangware, which are level 2 hospitals. The patient attendance capacity per day is 200. The 2 facilities are close by to cater for the high population in the area.
You cannot have UHC without having the necessary facilities. So we are building the facilities. So tukiwaambia register as NHIF, tunakwambia register as NHIF kwa sababu tuko na hospitali hii ambayo unaweza kwenda na kupata ile matibabu ambayo unataka.
Mukuru kwa Njenga, Mukuru kwa Ruben and Tasia residents have received level 3 hospitals each, with operations set to start immediately after the official opening. The night visit was also to establish the accessibility of the area and the staffing capacity expected to enable the facilities operate 24 hours.
Ni idadi ya watu ngapi, na sasa tunataka kuanzia kesho kwanza kupanga jinsi tutaajiri wale watu ambao wanatakikana kuhakikisha ya kwamba huduma haitakuwa tu ya mchana. Huduma itakuwa mchana na usiku kwa wananchi.
The government also plans to issue title deeds to the dwellers in these settlements once the proper infrastructure is completed.
And the COVID-19 situation is why the president was inspecting projects at night. And let's keep tabs on that story. And Kenya has launched its first ever policy on emergency healthcare, which is meant to minimize mortality in the country during the COVID-19 period and post the pandemic. And as Ruth Wamboi now reports, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya is urging the National Treasury to assist in the release of their new oxygen plant currently held at the Mombasa port over taxes as cases surge in that county.
Kakamega County Boss Wycliffe Oparanya has decried an acute shortage of oxygen owing to the rising cases of COVID-19 in his county.
We will plead with the Ministry of Finance to assist in releasing that plan, the fact that it's a COVID period, so that we can put it in use to save lives of the people of Kakamega and the environment counties.
This is as the Council of Governors is calling upon the national government to consider additional support to counties within the Lake Region Economic Bloc.
13 counties who have the highest disease burden at the moment.
And as the devolved units grapple with the pandemic, the national government hopes to scale up universal health coverage through implementation of an emergency medical care policy.
These emergency care infrastructures permanently established not only for the pandemics but also to be used by Kenyans every day.
Use of motorbikes and taxis to access medical facilities will soon be a thing of the past after the launch of this emergency medical policy. The Ministry of Health says all health workers countrywide will be trained and facilities equipped to respond to emergencies.
Provide provision of emergency health products and technologies to aid in the rollout of this policy. The other intervention, of course, is strengthen resource mobilization, initiative for emergency medical care services.
Meanwhile, Kenya recorded 506 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 7,376 tested in the last 24 hours. Sadly, one person lost the fight over the same period, while 355 patients recovered.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Now, away from that report, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has moved to restore strained relations between the police service and residents of Rioma in Kitutu Chache South after police who are enforcing COVID-19 protocols allegedly killed 2 people with several others sustaining gunshot wounds. This as the CS announced that the state will support the bereaved families with 100,000 Kenyan shillings each.
The CS will let top security officers from Nairobi and held a series of meetings with the area stakeholders, assured the residents of the government's commitment to act on the killers and deliver justice to the deceased.
Na tutumia ripoti lakini tayari tumeanza kuchukua hatua vile tuliongea hiyo maneno yote hapa.
Matiang'i called for calm and support from the residents, even as the Internal Affairs Unity team concluded its investigation over the deaths.
Tumekubaliana vile tutakavyoendelea mbele sasa katika mambo ya kuweka usalama katika pande hii na kuhakikisha kwamba uhusiano wetu kati ya sisi kwa security na wananchi umeimarika. Hii station imejengwa na nyinyi. Tumejenga na pesa yetu. Tulitaka watu waletwe hapa ambao watu watasaidia watu.
In the meantime, a section of legislators have hit out at politicians planning an impeachment motion of Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. Led by Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino, the leaders gave a strict warning to MPs who are purporting to bring an impeachment motion against the CS, saying they have no watertight reasons to warrant his impeachment.
Coming up with made-up issues that Dr. Matiang'i is not attending committee meetings, and that's the sole reason they are giving for the impeachment, that does not hold water.
And we want to say that if you go ahead and try to impeach CS Matiang'i, then we will equally start the process of collecting signatures to impeach the deputy president.
The motion is dead on arrival. So Matiang'i, continue working well, and you've really served us very well.
Timothy Kipnusu, Prime Edition.
Let's move this forward. In a planned street march by civil society groups to mark the SABA Day failed to materialize following a heavy police presence in the streets of Nairobi. The activists, however, managed to present a petition to the National Assembly calling on the government to come up with a policy that will address unemployment among the youth in the country.
In the streets of Nairobi, and a section of civil society groups prepared to make a peaceful march to mark the 31st SABA Day, but the planned peaceful protest were met with tear gas as heavily armed police officers kept vigil at strategic points in the city. However, the group changed tack and disintegrated only to regroup at the National Assembly, where it presented a petition with a raft of demands.
I will present this petition to Parliament. As you can see from what has been read out, it captures the mood of the youth in this country.
We're requesting that there be money put aside for unskilled youth in the villages in a manner that they're able to do productive work for the country, which is not just lashing. They should be engaged in work that is productive for the country.
Earlier, the group had convened a press conference at Chester House where it called on the government to respect the rule of law and independent institutions.
When democracy was introduced in the world, it was a social contract between the people and the people they choose. We're asking Kenyans to join political parties, join ideological parties, carry your brain when you're going to vote, contest for an election, because every Kenyan has a right so to do.
Time for us to take our very first breather on Prime Edition. But before we do, just a reminder that tonight we're talking to the chairperson of the County Assemblies Forum. And the question is, obviously, and you've heard this being asked out there, have MCAs become an appendage of county executives or the county governors? And that's the big question. And how then do we delink assemblies from the county executive so that they're able to function optimally? And we'll be asking whether, counties have been able to effectively oversight county governments.
I think for a very long time the MCAs had been underestimated, but you've seen what has happened even during the corruption cases, and our governors discuss the impeachment motions against governors and how powerful MCAs proved to be. I think times are changing and things are going to change in the near future. Interesting conversation there we'll be having later. It's a must watch, like I told you earlier, so keep watching KBC Channel 1. We are just going to be taking a very brief break. We are coming back with much more, including matters business, matters sports, still lined up ahead for you.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money. The one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank, which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Ala! Nissan Serena ndio hii. Na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS. Alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
This is where it all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion, of creativity, of big dreams. Stories that cement our nationhood. Stories that bring us together as one. We take pride in our shared heritage and destiny. KBC, informing, educating and entertaining Kenyans as one nation. KBC, Kenya's listening, Kenya's watching.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. We're still inviting your feedback on that conversation that John Jacob Kioria is going to be having in just a bit with the chair of the County Assembly's Forum, Ndegwa Wahome. Any questions for him? You can interact with us at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag Prime Edition. Now, moving on to matters politics, the United Democratic Alliance UDA insists that Deputy President William Ruto is still part and parcel of the Jubilee Party, despite indications that he might use the party to run for presidency in 2022. This as renowned gospel musician Reuben Kigame officially declared his interest in the country's 2022 presidential race. Have a look.
Having changed its name from the Party of Development and Reforms to United Democratic Alliance (UDA), the party claims its original pact with the Jubilee stands. Subsequently, UDA says working with Deputy President William Ruto was in order, given that the party was still part of Jubilee owing to the pre-election deal.
So hakuna kitu yao kusema tunaenda kukata hii, wanaweza kuongea kwa barabara, lakini kuna ile mkataba wamesaini inamaanisha kwamba wameoana, wapende wasipende mpaka mwisho wa mkataba wa serikali iliyoko sasa.
If it is true that the deputy president has gone to bed with UDA, but UDA has got a coalition agreement with Jubilee, so he's not breaking the law.
This as legislators allied to Jubilee Party spent the better part of Wednesday campaigning for Kiambaa Jubilee candidate Kariri Njama.
Sisi kama watu wa Jubilee tunawauliza nyinyi kama watu wa Kiambaa, hamwezi kujitoa kwa ruling party muende kwa opposition.
Hii nyumba ambayo tumejenga kama Jubilee, kama mtu anataka kutoka Jubilee, sheria iko wazi. Enda resign, simama kwako na hiyo chama mpya uchaguliwe. Ndio tujue hiyo chama iko na watu ama haina watu.
Lipo tumaini kwa mti ulokatwa.
Meanwhile, renowned gospel musician Reuben Kigame has officially declared his interest in becoming Kenya's 5th president come 2022. Kigame will be vying under the Rebuild Kenya party.
I would like to bring to the table a presidency that works with all well-meaning citizens to slay the dragon of corruption and impunity once and for all.
Elsewhere, Orange Democratic Movement Party's county secretaries, led by Makadara MP George Aladwa, have asked Migori Governor Okoth Obado to resign following his decision to decamp the party.
Lazima urespect chama ambayo imekupatia hiyo ticket, na kama una feel ni kwamba hauwezi kuenda na vile chama inataka, ujiuzulu uende kwa chama ingine uitishe kura, na hiyo ndio msimamo wetu.
Suleiman Yeri, Prime Edition.
Moving on, a businessman who shot and injured 2 police officers and a waitress at a lounge last week will remain in police custody for a period of 7 days to allow the police complete their investigations. This incident occurred last Friday. This story and others in our County News Roundup.
The 3 victims had not recorded their statements. One of them,
Principal Magistrate Zainab Abdul, declined an application by prosecution to detain Dixon Janja Mararo for 14 days, saying they were excessive and the suspect had already recorded a statement regarding the incident. Meanwhile, traders in Oyugis want the county government to help solve the congestion along the highway by relocating them to the newly constructed modern market. The traders were moved to Onanda Market, which is close to 400 meters away from Oyugis town, when construction of the new facility began. They have since resorted to selling along Kisii-Kisumu highway to make a living. And police in Samburu County have in their custody 23 people of Ethiopian nationality for allegedly being in the country illegally. The immigrants were arrested at Opiroi area in Samburu North Sub-County and are detained at Maralal Police Station. Elsewhere in Laikipia County, police have arrested 2 suspected robbers and recovered stolen items. The duo are alleged to have stolen 400,000 shillings in Lumakande, Kakamega County, and fled to Nanyuki, where they were apprehended at their hideout. In Kiambu County, a gang of 4 thugs who allegedly stole livestock at Sokomjinga area were forced to run from irate residents who were baying for their blood. The angry residents set ablaze the car, which is believed to have been used to commit the felony, in early hours of Wednesday. In Kakamega County, a man has been arrested after a bang worth 100,000 shillings was found growing in his Likuyani home. 360 stems of narcotic plants were uprooted from his farm. Finally, Isiolo County Senator Fatuma Dulo has welcomed the reshuffle of the county commissioner, calling on the new office bearer to engage Isiolo leaders from the region and neighboring counties to find a lasting solution to insecurity in the area.
County commissioner should be putting the security team together and actually make sure that communities, number one, live together. Number two, he needs to sit with his neighbors, because his counterparts in those counties, and try and see with the leaders within the county to see how they can resolve the boundary disputes.
Dula spoke as Geoffrey Omoding took over from Herman Shambi as the new Isiolo County Commissioner.
Now it's time for me to hand it over to John Jacob Kioria. If you want to know the status of devolution, this is how it begins. Kioria, the conversation already heating up before it starts. I can see on the other side. It's over to you. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Serfine. Let's take stock of devolution. Like I told you, our guest tonight is Speaker Ndegwa Home, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nyandarua, and he's fighting personal political wars in Nyandarua. We'll talk about that later. But Speaker, karibu sana. First of all, say hi to the people of Kenya and Nyandarua County, and then we begin.
Thank you very much, Kioria and Serfine, for having me here. I really appreciate it to be at KBC studios, and I want to greet the people of Nyandarua and across this country, being a representative of all the speakers and MCs across this country, and to tell them that as the body that lobbies for their interests, we are doing the best we can to see that assemblies remain stable, and also that they are forward-looking, and that they are able to secure the interests and aspirations of the people of this country.
All right, 8 years on after we introduced the concept of devolution, and we've tried to take, a stock of devolution. We had the senator here 2 weeks ago. Now we're talking to members of the county assembly themselves. And as a speaker, as the chair of the county assemblies forum, do you think MCAs have lived up to their billing in terms of oversighting county governments?
I think MCAs have done their best, but there are so many hurdles placed on the way, so that some people can access public resources. And by that I mean that they can be able to do corruption, they can be able to do looting and the theft of public resources without any hindrance or without any watch by the county assemblies. And by this, we have really been agitating for the amendment of the Public Finance Management Act, so that the monies that are allocated to the county assemblies by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, by the Parliament, that money goes straight to the county assemblies, because the clerk of an assembly is the accounting officer. Why this money has to go through the governor? So the governor rods over the assemblies, and the assemblies are supposed to watch over the governor. Obviously, it is defeatist. And we don't see why, at this time, Parliament has not been intervened. I even today had a meeting with the Speaker of the Senate and some senators, and I believe because there is an omnibus law that will be introduced into the Senate and into the National Assembly, that amendment of the Public Finance Management Act will be one of the issues that will be addressed, because I can assure you, Bwana Kioria, there will be no proper oversight and stability in county assemblies as long as the governors are calling the shots on how assemblies are managed.
You're saying you're unable to do oversight basically because your monies come through the county executive. I want you to rate yourself. If you're unable to do it, then if you were to rate yourself 1 to 10 in terms of oversight, how would you say MCAs have fared?
I think I can say that in most of the assemblies, you can even go up to about 8. 8. And then to others, it is 0, depending on the attitude of the governor. A governor who came to serve the people, they are very open to the assemblies, and assemblies are able to do their work. Governors who came to root, the oversight is 0, because they are able to manipulate the finances of the assemblies to ensure that they are at their beck and call. Therefore, it is a very, very sad affair. As I am here for Nyandarua, Nyandarua, the assembly is purely an appendage of the governor. As the speaker there, I cannot access even my office, just because we are oversighting the governor.
And we'll talk about Nyandarua in a bit. But Speaker, generally looking at it, you make it appear like it's only a legal, your only challenge to oversight is a legal challenge. Is that the only problem?
No, it is not a legal charge. I think why I'm saying that we are doing well, the MCAs really understand what they are supposed to do. And they know their role of oversight, financial authorization, representation, and registration. But I'm saying, Kioria, without your financial independence, that you have to look over your shoulder to know how you need to oversight the governor, that you even call for your resources to be able to manage the oversight. Because when you are doing this oversight, sometimes you require engineers to come and tell you whether the big queues on a road have been implemented properly. If the governor is withholding your resources, how do you get that engineer to come and help you to do your oversight? How do you come and be able to get an accountant? How do you get a forensic auditor to come and help you? So until that time, that the resources for the assemblies come to the assemblies, so that the assemblies are able to manage their affairs, especially around oversight. It is a big problem for devolution. And what I am saying, like now the BBI had a very, very good proposals of bringing down to the counties 35% of all the revenue for the country. But then, with the kind of oversight we have, the lack of financial independence in the assemblies, then it would just make some people billionaires, and Kenyans' aspirations would remain unsatisfied.
You've talked about You've talked about the Nyandarua County Assembly, for example, being an appendage of the executive, according to you.
Yes.
And this probably, if it were true, this is not the only county where we're seeing, members of the county assembly being appendages of the executive. Does that speak to the problem of the governor, or does that speak to the quality of MCAs we have, that willingly they have become appendages of the executive?
I think the main problem, as I have told you, is about the leadership. And when we are talking about leadership, we are talking about the governor. I can tell you, when I speak with the speakers and the MCAs across this country, there are MCAs, when they want the payroll from the governor, they will get it within 24 hours. When they demand CECs to appear before them, they will appear. But in some assemblies, you will not get that. Like in Nyandarua, I can tell you, we have been asking for the payroll, which short, after Kimemia came in, it short from 1.6 billion to 2.1 billion. We have asked for that payroll since 2017. It cannot be failed. If it is construction of the potato processing plant, we had offered given 600 million. We have been asking for accountability on that. It has never been done. If it is the road machinery that the governor is singing about in Nyandarua all the time, 500 million was used. Some of it budgeted, others not budgeted, without even procurement plan. He cannot account for it. The easiest thing to do is to intimidate the MCAs. 7 MCAs in Nyandarua, they are only in the assembly courtesy of the court. Kimemia runs to Tuju. He gets letters to have them suspended from the assembly because they are asking him questions.
All right, and because
so therefore, when Kioria, we are talking about accountability, it will not happen until the different entities in government play their role.
All right.
Like now, how would a secretary general of a party suspend elected members from the assembly to protect Kimemia from being accountable? How can you give police to the governor of Nyandarua to stop the speaker from even accessing the assembly so that he does not become accountable?
Okay, Speaker, we'll talk about that. Let me
Kioria, another issue I wanted to put across to you.
Very quickly.
Like the control of budget.
Yes.
In Nyandarua, the person who is purporting to be the clerk of the assembly is not even an employee of the assembly.
But he's receiving money on behalf of the assembly.
On behalf of the assembly.
Okay.
Just sitting in the assembly at the beck and call of the governor. The board that is authorizing expenditure at the assembly and making out payment is a board that has been barred by the High Court. But the control of the budget, on instructions of the governor, is releasing money for Nyandarua County Assembly.
Is this exclusive to Nyandarua, or there are other assemblies doing the same?
We are expecting that if the governors misbehave in other counties, the control of budget and other government agencies will also comply with what the governor wants. And what I'm saying, what is helping other counties is governors who behave and who are working towards satisfying the aspirations of their people.
All right, let's come back to the county assemblies as the chair of that forum. The technical capacity of MCAs to oversight county governments, because there's always that, do they have the technical capacity to understand the issues in some of these reports and file, a good reports that probably even the Auditor General can rely on?
Yes, actually we do very, very good reports.
Okay.
And with partnership with the donors, the Danish embassy, UNICEF, the CPST, our members are well trained. And we also have backup. Most of the assemblies have legal departments, they have finance departments, they have budget office, and therefore our members are also properly advised by our technical team, and we are supposed to work in tandem and in harmony. And I can tell you the reports that are coming from the assemblies, if they are properly implemented, the people of this country would see the fruits of devolution.
All right. Yes. What is the relationship between CAF, the County Assemblies Forum, and the Senate? Because some of these things, or these grey areas that need to be sorted out, some of which are legal, are things you should be working, together with the Senate to iron them out. What is the relationship between CAF and the Senate?
I would say it is a very good relationship.
Okay.
And we are going forward in leaps and bounds. From where I started in 2013, we are different. I was still the speaker in Nyandarua. From 2013, and we have what we call the legislative summit. And I've said it today, I was with the Minister for Devolution, the Speaker of the Senate, and we are planning about the next legislative summit, where we come together and exchange experiences, and we look at the laws, we look at the weaknesses, and we are able to address those issues. So I can say that with the Senate, we are working well. And I think the Senate, under Article 96, is trying as much as possible to defend the devolution. The main problem also is individual senators. Like the senator for Nyandarua, despite all the wars that have been in Nyandarua for the last 1 year, our senator is comfortable.
You're talking about Senator Gideon?
Senator Gideon is very comfortable with Governor Kimemia. He will never raise a finger. Despite the chaos in Nyandarua, where the police and the thugs lie in wait at the chambers for the speaker and the progressive MCs to go. Our senator is very, very comfortable. He will not say anything. So the Senate as a house is a good house. And we are working very well. Okay. But individual senators, they should stand up to be counted.
All right. Yeah. I saw you had a meeting with IEBC. I think this year, yes. And on the issues of county allocations and timely, or how they sent timely to county governments has been a problem, and I think that problem was a little bit small earlier, but now they're going even to almost 4-5 months without the money being disbursed to the accounts of the county governments. I don't know what you're doing as a County Assemblies Forum to try and iron out these issues to ensure that county governments are still running even as we experience cash crunches.
I think that is a major problem, and it is actually beyond us. Okay. Because the law is very clear that money should be released to the counties in tranches, in 12 tranches every month. Initially it was to be released quarterly. The government was unable to do it, and therefore the Public Finance Management Act was amended so that monies are released monthly. Still there are some problems, and we don't know exactly what is the problem, but that is there is not much we can do about it. As assemblies, we can only make a lot of noise and complain because projects are not being implemented, but it is actually beyond us. We expect that it is Senate and the National Assembly who would intervene. But again, Kioria, even the National Assembly themselves, they have not received money for CDF. So even if we go to cry to them, they are crying even louder than ourselves.
I want you to react to a report by EACC, February this year, that says that county assemblies is another den of corruption when you're talking about procurement and the human resource management. In county assemblies, you see a lot of nepotism and corruption in county assemblies.
I don't think that is correct. And I actually have not seen that report. But what I would want to say is that I have not seen a specific complaint about nepotism and corruption in the human resource area within the county assemblies. I think like in Nyandarua, you have heard people saying the speaker has been employing his relatives and friends and whatever, but these relatives and friends have names. There is nobody to mention them. It is only the Governor Kimemia who will go around in Nyandarua talking about there is nepotism in the assembly, but he will not mention any names. We know where nepotism in this country, in the area of devolution, where it rests. In Nyandarua, I can tell you where nepotism
and
is.
Not in county assemblies.
Not in the county assemblies.
As we
and I would say that and within the EACC, I am not aware of any assembly that is being investigated for nepotism.
All right.
Yes.
As we wind up, Speaker, what next for you? A speaker who has been impeached 3 times. There appears to be a section of MCAs who are determined that he will never enter those precincts of the assembly. What is your next move?
No, there is no MCAs. This is not a war for the MCAs. This is a war by the governor, because Governor Kimemia thinks he's an emperor, that he should not be accountable to anybody. And he can use the police to barricade the assembly. He can call the control budget to release money to strangers. He can call the treasury and the central bank to release money to strangers. Otherwise, there is no issue. If the police and the Mogiki are removed from the assembly, who are there? Courtesy of Kimemi.
Those are serious
I
allegations.
will go to that assembly. I would want you to call me here and Governor Kimemi.
Okay.
And then we are going to put these things in perspective. This country cannot run the way Nyandarua is running.
Okay.
That you are corrupt. You are rooting and killing the aspirations of the people. But you don't want to be asked any question. And other government agencies are helping you to kill the aspirations of the people. But the beautiful thing, and I'm telling the people of Nyandarua to remain calm, that on 9th of August next year, those thieves and rooters, we are going to set them away from Nyandarua.
And of course, we're hoping we'll get an opportunity with Governor Francis Kimemia so that he also has a rebuttal, because those are serious allegations you've made here. But well, time is up. We need to wind up because business is coming up next with Cynthia Nyamai. Don't go too far.
If you have been in contact with someone who is suspected or has tested positive for COVID-19, self-quarantine for 14 days and call 7194 for help. Self-quarantine restricts movement and the spread of the disease and protects your family, friends and community from being infected. During self-quarantine, you are advised to stay in a separate room, disinfect surfaces and clothing with appropriate disinfectant, avoid sharing household items, including utensils, towels and beddings, do not receive visitors, wear an appropriate face mask if you must be around other people. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, family and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Kama ni kushina hawa tusintoka kwa fadhali nikatoka nikaribia kwangu.
Fadhali pia tumpo off. Mimi naenda kumaliza usingizi wangu.
Nilikuwa kwanza nafaa nikupigie wewe unipatie ruhusa, si ndio? Huyo alikuja kumtupa paka wangu huku anajiamini sana.
Huyo ketu wako mwaka huu atalijua jiji. Client or no client?
La!
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy and heritage. That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting and colorful bouquet.
Welcome to Business. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, Base Titanium will continue with operations beyond 2022 after the national government renewed its operating license. Mining Cabinet Secretary John Munye said the mining firm's license was renewed after meeting terms and conditions set by the government.
Australian-based firm Base Titanium has been seeking to extend its activities in Kenya beyond next year after it projected to exhaust titanium ores in its operational mining. The company has been seeking a 4-year license extension as well as new licenses for the adjacent area where it has been prospecting for more mineral ores. Mining Cabinet Secretary John Munyes says the license extension has been granted after the company met all the requirements.
So when we did that last month, I think we all agreed it was important to give the license. So we are now in the process of delivering the license to them. But it has taken time to ensure the public is an acceptance. Public participation is very important in this process.
Speakers at the Kenya Chambers of Mine Conference held virtually urge artisanal and small miners to form cooperatives in a bid to formalize their ventures as well as attract private equity.
Let's support the 500,000 small-scale miners, grow them to 1 million, and work closely on how to add value to what these small-scale miners are doing.
Why can't our central bank, or in conjunction with KCB, be able to go to have a branch in Turkana where it can buy the gold at value price?
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
The Kenya Revenue Authority has launched a 2 billion shillings customs network system across 23 custom units at the port of Mombasa. The 15-kilometer fiber connectivity cable is meant to streamline the effectiveness of customs system as well as enhance its transparency.
As the main point of entry for import goods into Kenya and other East and Central African countries, revenue collected at the port of Mombasa is a major source of collections for the country. In a bid to streamline efficiency at the custom unit as well as enhance transparency, a new 2 billion shillings custom system has gone live at the port of Mombasa.
You need again a system that ensures that traders know which taxes to pay, how to pay them, from the comfort of their offices as they move along, and therefore you are able to generate revenue from that customs angle.
The 15-kilometer network upgrade system will complement the existing network at the inland container terminal in Nairobi to log entries and pay taxes.
There will be less or minimal system town times, and therefore leading to faster clearance and enhancing international trade.
Phase 2 of the project will see the construction of additional border posts as well as new trade routes along the southern corridor. Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
Now, from your feedback, this story got a lot of you excited, where a Kenyan-based fintech startup, Kioria, has rolled out an app enabling customers to save as little as 100 shillings and access to low-risk investment opportunities offered by Britam Asset Managers. Kioria's co-founder, Delilah Kidanu, says the app is designed to offer Kenyans an easier way of actualizing personal saving goals and encouraging more people to gain control of their finances. Details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
The deal between Kioria App and Britam Asset Managers is the first of its kind in the market for a digital independent financial advisors agreement. The Kioria App makes it easy for customers to instantly save with the Britam Money Market Fund and trust their investments.
One of the big facts that we realized was there's a demographic shift with a lot of young customers coming in to the adult age, starting to get their first job, starting to get their salaries, having mobile phones. And I think for us, one of the big realizations was understanding that retail investors today aren't as common as institutional investors.
Meanwhile, Taita Taveta County is set to establish an export processing zone in Voi in efforts to increase manufacturing, create more job opportunities, and tap the international market. Taita Taveta Governor Granton Samboja says the Voi EPZ will help revive the large-scale sisal production as well as other agricultural activities in the area.
Guano, macadamia, small stock goats, and cattle, which will provide raw materials for agro processing.
Finally, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has called on the new KTDA Holdings Board to move with speed in executing actions and strategies that will ensure increased earnings for farmers. Speaking at an induction ceremony for the new board, Munya said there is increased expectation on the new KTDA board to refocus the business objectives to serve the interest of farmers.
Farmers feel their investments in this sector is not earning them money. So your biggest challenge as you take over the management of this year is to see how to address that particular issue.
Well, that's it from the business desk. We will take a short break, but don't go away. Sports coming up shortly.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi, kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Sasa hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno unasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua? Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe, na kama haujui kusoma uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia masilahi yako, na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako. Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process. By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima. Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money, the one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank, which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
It's now time for us to focus on the sports news. I'm standing in for Richard Munga tonight. Now, sprinter Ferdinand Omanyala has intensified his training ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games to be held in Japan from the 23rd of this month. Omanyala today worked on his balance and resistance at the Kasarani Stadium ahead of Team Kenya's departure to the Olympic Games postponed from last year due to the coronavirus pandemic. The strict bubble camps environs restrictions allow Omanyala and all other athletes routine to be solely focused on training for the games. Omanyala won their 100-meter national title and set a national record in their 100 meters in Lagos, Nigeria on 30th of March. The athletics team will leave Nairobi for Kurume camp on the 23rd of July and later to the Olympic Village in Tokyo. Meanwhile, the Mondo track and field engineers are laying the synthetic track at the Kenyatta University, where the athletes village will be stationed for the World Under-20 Championship.
There are so many things that I've seen that I can do better, especially at the start of my race. I did not have a very good start in the 10.02 race. So that's what we're working on majorly when we are in camp. So we hope that we can go sub 9 or sub 9.9 or 9.8. Yeah.
And the Kenya national rugby sevens team will play USA in their opening match of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games on the 26th of this month. Following the match schedule released today, Kenya will then face African giant South Africa on the same day before playing Ireland in the last Pool C match on the 27th of July. The men's tournament will get off to a flying start when defending champions Fiji faced host Japan, with another highly contested encounter between New Zealand and Australia also being played on the opening day. The final of the men's tournament will be played on the 28th of July. The women's event gets underway on the 29th of July with a tight encounter between Fiji and France. Champions of the women's tournament will be crowned on the 31st of July.
Come Kenya again through Amonde, and Jetta out to his right if required. Pops the ball back, and here goes Collins and Jetta. Second top try scorer on the all.
And Safari Rally fans with vehicles will be issued with the litter bins when Kenya will be hosting the WRC Safari Rally next year. This is a move aimed at managing waste as Kenya seeks to implement the WRC's environment policy on conservation of the environment.
Through the Green Legacy initiative that was started for purposes of creating awareness on the importance of conserving the environment by planting trees and managing waste, the program has been rolled out in Naivasha's Soisambu and Kedong wildlife conservancies.
Therefore, for me as the senior warden, I was pleased at the end of the session. I was happy that the event went on as we had programmed it to take place. But the one drive, it was safe. We did not have any event.
I'd like to assure Kenyans that we conducted the just ended event within the scope of FIA sustainability guidelines, and we were able to conduct a very sustainable event in terms of environment.
So to me, I think the event achieved a great success, and we are looking forward to hosting it maybe next year, 2022, and there will be a lot of improvements in regard to implementation of the World Rally Championship. It is a great thing, and it is a great fun, and I think almost everybody enjoyed it. Those who are present at site and those who also watch it from the electronic media.
Environmental conservation has been a major key highlight during the 6th round of the WRC Safari Rally Championship that was successfully hosted in Kenya. Through the Green Legacy, the FIA, together in conjunction with the Kenya Wildlife Services and the Kenya Motorsports Federations, have embarked on planting more than 19 million seedlings. Reporting for Prime Edition from Naivasha, Nakuru County, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
And now on to something I know you all are looking forward to. England manager Gareth Southgate has challenged his players to make history by beating Denmark tonight in the second Euro 2020 semi-final to reach the final for the first time. England are one win away from a first major tournament final since 1966 after reaching the semi-finals of Euro 2020. The winners of the semi-final will play Italy, who defeated Spain in post-match penalties in the final on Sunday.